are going, because if you don't know where you're going, you're not going to know who to bring along with you on the journey. So that's my work, my job, to help you develop your to discover your true identity, know who you are, and know where you are going to make that right marital choice, to enjoy that marriage that you have always imagined, that you have always dreamed about. All right? So thank you for joining me today. Compliments of the season. I guess everybody is busy trying to get ready for Christmas. So let's do this. All right, so sometimes long distance relationships can have very low success rate. Long distance relationships are very, very hard to deal with. But people do benefit from long distance relationships. You have to be ready, you have to be mature enough, and you have to be ready to put in the work, because it requires a lot of work. If you're not ready to put in the work, you're not going to be successful. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit today, give you some tips and on the different kinds of long distance relationship. So like I said, you have to be intentional. You have to be intentional. You have to have plans. Don't just, leave everything in the open. Oh yes, I'm going to school abroad and I'm going to see if I can get my starters. Then I will send for you. But, time indefinite. And then this person is waiting, they're waiting indefinitely and don't even know why they're waiting indefinitely and don't even know why, they get into this thing. So you have to clear your, make your intentions clear, make your intentions known, so everybody can know, how they are standing. Okay, like for example, okay, when are we going to come together? How long are you going to be out there for school? Is it going to be 1 year? I don't advise you to stay more than a year. Okay, is it 6 months? 2 years. If you can do 2 years, you can work hard and do it. But I don't think 2 years is a good time. People get very tempted. A lot of things happen. So you don't want to wait too long. Okay? And you have to be intentional about communication too. How often can we talk? Don't just talk to your spouse or to your fiancé once a week or once a month. You have to, at least talk almost every other day. Be ready to do video chats if need be, FaceTime videos and all that stuff. You have to. It's a lot of work. So like I said, if you're not ready to get into it, don't get involved. All right. So some kinds of long distance relationships, when you meet the person on the internet or by phone, you guys got introduced by somebody, a friend, mutual friend, or family member, and you guys decide to get into a relationship, and you guys start to talk. You guys live in two different countries or whatever is, yeah. And then the second one is people meet on dating sites. People go on dating sites to find their spouses. There's a lot of dating sites now. Some people are lucky, some people are unlucky. So you gotta be careful, because they have a lot of bad people on there that's not transparent with the information. Because I heard that people go on there and don't even show the real names and all that stuff. So you have to be very careful. So people meet on dating sites and then they start to come together to build relationships. So that's another kind of long distance relationship. And then another kind of long distance relationship is when people are married and then they travel for work or school. Maybe your husband or your wife got an opportunity to go and study abroad to better themselves, and then you guys have to live separately for a while. And then some people meet, you're probably going to meet the person few days or few months later, and then they have to travel. Not, you guys did not know that they had to travel, and after you met, you realize that this person was already enrolled, going somewhere else for school or something. And then, like I said, school or work, people meet for school or work. Travel for school or work in different countries. So those are the kinds of long distance relationship. So you have to be very, intentional about this. You have to be ready. You have to be willing to put in the work. Okay, you have to be able to make this sacrifice because it requires a lot. Sometimes people will call you guys living like two different continents with the time zones are different, and where to the other person you're gonna be like 12 a.m. and then to the other person it's gonna be like 9 a.m. and stuff like that. So you have to be, or 3 a.m. You have to be willing to be able to talk during all hours. You can't be like, oh, I'm sleepy, I have to talk. Those are the sacrifices that you have to make. So you have to look into it before getting into this, because it's not an easy task. And then trust issues can be very huge in long distance relationships. It's very, very huge. So tips on how to manage these trust issues. Number one, you have to put communication first. You guys have to be able to communicate on a regular basis. Like I said, don't hold back communication. Do not wait to just communicate with a person like a week. Not everybody want to talk every day, but you can, maybe you guys have to set those things, make decisions on those things. Like, okay, we're going to chat one day, and then we're going to talk on the phone another day, or we're going to video chat, or we're going to text and all that stuff. But you have to have some form of communication during every week. You can't be quiet for a whole week. That's not healthy for the relationship. And transparency, you have to be very transparent. You have to be transparent with the things you do. When you go to the grocery store, you can FaceTime your fiance or your husband and be like, oh, I'm at the grocery store right now. I'm getting stuff, and stuff like that. People that you are friends with, the new friends that you have made, you have to, make your spouse to know that you have made new friends. You hang around new people to make, just to make things, make the other person comfortable. Not to be suspicious. You don't want to create suspicion. All right. So you have to earn trust. People don't just trust you. You have to earn trust. If you cannot, you have to make the other person to want to trust you. So you have to know how you're doing things. You don't want to create, like I said, you don't want to create suspicions. The person call you, oh, I'm with some friends, but then you can't talk when you're with those friends. Why? That those things create suspicions. If you can talk right now, maybe it's in school, or you're at a lecture or something. After your lecture, call your husband or fiance right back and tell them, I was in school and I was in a lecture, I couldn't talk, or I was in a business meeting and I couldn't talk at the time. But don't just ignore the feelings, because it's distance. People, a lot of negative things go into people's minds, and then, they start to think different. So to not create that space of suspicion, to make the other person suspicious, you have to make them to trust you. Like I said, trust is earned. All right. Then another thing you want to do is to maintain a long distance relationship, you want to do like share activities. All right. Like, I know you guys are long distance. I see guys in different countries watch the football game together on the phone. You can also do activities with your wife on the phone. You guys can watch a movie together and talk about it together. You guys can read a book together and talk about, the book, together. Just watch a movie for like 1 hour. Those things can bring you together, and then it brings You know, like, okay, yes, this person still care about me. The time, they spend time with me on the phone, and we still, we are still together. We still have that bond. You guys can do exercise together, early in the morning if you guys have the same time zone or not much of a difference. You guys can exercise together, you walking on the other side and you walking, and you guys have your phone, your face down video, and like, okay, yeah, we're walking, how many hours we want to walk today? We're walking like 1 hour or 30 minutes, or you guys can go to the gym, wherever way you want to exercise. But it's always important to do some shared activities together, just to bring that, to make you feel that you guys are still together, although you guys are in distance, but you guys are still together. All right, so this, like I said, it requires a lot of discipline. You have to be disciplined, and you have to avoid unspoken expectations. Don't assume that, oh, this person have to know, what to do. No, you guys have to discuss, oh, this is how we want to do it. We're going to talk 3 times a week. We're going to do activity twice a week, or share activity once a week. Those little things. And when are we going to, how often we're going to visit each other? If it's very expensive, you got to work on your budget. How you going to budget to be able to visit? Maybe you visit, one person visit every 3 months, or the other person visit every 2 months, depending on how far the distance is. If it's across the ocean, you guys can visit like maybe twice a year or 3 times a year. And one person, and it's not one person going to do the traveling. Your wife have to come to see where you are, and you have to come and see where she is. Or if you guys just meeting, you have to know. Just telephone conversation is not enough to know somebody behavior, to know who they are. It's not enough. So don't trust anybody. Can just write something or say something, they don't mean it from their heart. They might write LOL on the text message, and they're not even laughing, so you have to know them. You have to be in the space to know, the things that they do, the way they do things. So it's very important that you guys try the hardest to be able to meet one another every time to visit, visit one state, and then the other person come to visit. It's very, very, very important. So like I said, trust and faithfulness is huge. People tend to not trust people when they are long distance. So you have to, if you really want this person and you really want to maintain this relationship, you have to do your best. You have to work hard. You have to put your all into it, and you have to make it happen. You have to be prepared. If you are not prepared, don't get into it. Some people are very, especially men, they're very like, they're not too used to being alone. They always want to be with somebody, and across the other country might be cold during the winter, and he might have somebody there to to warm you up. So you guys have to really be intentional about this. Be prepared. If you are not prepared, you are not that person that will hold on to a relationship. Do not waste the other person's time. All right? Do not waste the other person's time. You have to be transparent, communicate your decisions and your plans. You have to have plans. Don't just be like, oh, I have to get married to somebody to get paper before I can come and get you. Those things are not good, especially if you're believers. Getting married for paper is not a good thing. It's like you're abusing marriage, and you are taking marriage for granted in the eyes of God. Marriage is very secret to God. It's not to be, abused. So by you getting married for paper, it's just totally against the word of God. It's not God. So you don't have to do those things. You have to trust God. So if you're not ready for long distance, do not get involved. Okay? So I see a lot of marriages, especially us from Africa. A lot of people leave from the United States to go back to Liberia to go for work, and a lot of different things happen. A lot of good, beautiful families that I know got destroyed because of one person leaving to go to Liberia to go get whatever, So do not allow success and money to destroy your family and your marriage. If it's good for you, if you want to move because of a better job opportunity, you can go for a year and then make plans for your family to join you. But do not marriage was not designed like that for two people to live apart, to live away from each other. It's you guys supposed to be together to raise your kids together and to build a family together. So I mean, it's not good. So you have to be very careful if you get into these things. If that's what you want, or like I said, some long distance relationships do work. I mean, there's an exception to everything, but a lot of times the success rate of long distance relationship is very low. It's very, very, very low. So if you are trying to get into a long distance relationship, be ready to do the work, be disciplined, and be focused, and have a plan. Always have a plan. To not just leave things open. To not leave things open. All right? So thank you guys for joining me today. My name is Albertina Nayenti. I am your relationship coach. I'm here every Saturday morning at 10 o'clock with Albertina. Saturday morning live with Albertina, but I didn't do that Saturday morning live today because of other reasons. I'm just doing this video. And I will see you next week at 10 a.m. CST, all right? Be careful out there. It's crazy. Everybody's trying to get their last Christmas run and everything. We're looking forward to a beautiful 2022. And I wish you guys all the best, okay? I love you all, and I will see you next week. Bye-bye.